You know, when Jesus was baptized, even for the early church, it was a real discussion, this whole idea of Jesus being baptized, because after all, Jesus was to be without sin. So why would he bother being baptized? And it created quite a discussion, because the concept of Jesus as a sinner seems contradictory to church teachings. Because after all, Jesus, the Son of God, probably not a sinner. And Matthew suggests that there's reluctance on the part of John the Baptist. In fact, he says it. He says, I need to be baptized by you, and yet you are coming to me. And so it probably tells us that Jesus goes to be baptized as an example. Because throughout his ministry, Jesus wants to be affiliated with the people. He wants to be an example. He wants to show everyone that it's the people, it's the ordinary people that are part of this kingdom. One's not favored because of one's wealth or position or anything like that. It's ordinary people that Jesus welcomes. And it's entirely fitting then that Jesus would come forward and say to John the Baptist, I need to be baptized. And so John the Baptist goes forward with it. And it's very interesting because, well, I guess it's an irony. It's the central image of this redemptive mystery. And Jesus enters into this radical solidarity with everyone. And he takes upon himself this idea that right from this stage until my death, I'm going to be the one who is going to bring forgiveness to people. And it's a great image. This idea that Jesus, the Son of God, steps forward and says, I want to be baptized. I am one of the people. I am of the people. So please, John, baptize me. And for John the Baptist, it makes a lot of sense. Once this little discussion takes place, that Jesus would step forward and ask this. And it's kind of interesting that, you know, the character of John the Baptist, he's a real radical at the time. He dresses like crazy, you know, really as somebody from a cave, which is where generally he lived. And he was a bit of a wild man. Well, he wasn't a bit of it, he was a wild man. Very disheveled looking and piercing eyes, and he spoke with a booming, thundering voice. And people were drawn to an affirmation on the part of John the Baptist to Jesus. He says, you know, you're not fit to baptize you. It should be the other way around. And so for the people, that's a real affirmation, because they saw John the Baptist as a very holy person. And here's this very holy person saying to Jesus, oh no, you should be baptizing me. I'm not worthy. And that it seems subtle in the Gospels. So let's say that subtle but important message is an indicator of who this person Jesus is. This person is the Messiah. And this person is bringing to the world a whole new sense of interaction among peoples through his baptism as an example. That no matter what indiscretions we might have, or sins, or whatever terminology you want to use, Jesus still loves you. And notice how that message keeps reoccurring in the Gospels. That if you step forward and dialogue with Jesus, you open up the door to wondrous possibilities. And I also wonder, when I read this and thought about it, if there was even a sense of doubt on Jesus' part, we know that he had doubts. And so, John the Baptist baptizing Jesus helps to ease some of those doubts. And that's an interesting thing. I think when we face doubts in our lives, if we take those doubts and we place them in God's hands, then we can achieve a degree of peace. Because again, the dialogue with God begins. The ongoing prayer we have with our Messiah, with Jesus, continues. So those doubts, take them and wrap them up and hand them to Jesus. And it doesn't necessarily mean that rub your hands out, Pontius Pilate, and everything is gone. No. But you've begun the dialogue, and that's the good thing. So it's a great little message, and it's nice to see this in the Gospels, because it's a very special baptism. If you ever have the chance to go to the Middle East, to go to Israel, or to Jordan, take off your shoes and socks and roll up your pant leg and walk into the Jordan River. It's already deep, especially in the summertime. And it's really neat. There's all these little fish swimming around, and they don't bother you. And there's Christians from all over the world, at the Jordan River. You'll hear every language spoken you can possibly imagine, and some you can't imagine. It's a great experience, because you know that this is what Jesus did. It's very, very exhilarating in many respects. So think about the meaning of baptism, your own baptism. I won't ask you to remember it. Most of us can't remember our baptisms. Some of us who were baptized a little later can, and in a way that's kind of neat. But think about what baptism means to you, and focus upon that, and how Jesus sought out John the Baptist to be baptized. It's a great